We're ready? Hi,
Yep.
guys. Today we're going to be doing the case of Connie Converse. She went missing summer of 1974. This is a request from one of our subscribers. So shout out to Tony Harmon and let's get into it.
All right. So just to let everybody know, I do kind of prepare. I just do a little prayer before all of this and just kind of go into my space and ask if anyone wants to come forward. I did connect with Connie, and she was very clear that that's not her real name. That it's Elizabeth. So if we can call her Elizabeth, that would be helpful. She felt very reticent, very private. So I'm going to see what we can get on this. So she went missing in 1974,
Yeah, like August, the
Carolyn.
summertime. Yeah.
Um, and this was like New York. Was this northeast,
Oh, she
or
went
do you
missing
know
in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
the north? Did she live? Did she
Isn't
live in New York or yeah, in northeast at any point?
Oh, in New York, yes. At one point after college, she did move to New York for a while.
Okay, because she's starting with New York for me. Um, this feels like I could get lost in a crowd. I feel a lot of anonymity here from her. Doesn't particularly feel overwhelming with them. Did she play jazz or did she like jazz, blues?
She was a folk.
You know?
She wrote more folk. She probably liked blues and
Okay.
jazz. I mean, but she like the music that she did was folk music.
Okay, so she's showing me like 1960s, early mid 1960s, like 64, 65, 66. Do you know if she was in that place then? Or would you know?
You know what? I don't know the year of when she
Okay,
was
that's
there. It
fine.
was right. Well, yeah, I don't know the year. I was gonna say because it was she was in college. She left after 2 years and then moved there. So it was like I don't
How old
even
was
know
she when she
how.
went missing? Do you know
That's
how
what I
old
was
she was?
just.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
just gonna say that I don't even know how old she was when she went missing.
She feels to me or looks to me 28 to let's do 34, but I'm thinking probably closer to 30. So when I see someone who is in spirit, I see them the age that they were in spirit. So she's kind of taking me back a little bit. So I don't know where I was going with that. Hold on just a minute. I'm just gonna start going.
Yeah.
I feel she's smart. She's very intuitive. I think she watches her words. She's an observer. She notices things. Um, hold on just a minute. She notices things. I think she's could probably be a loner. She does not feel extroverted at all to me. So I don't know how she could. She was a performer.
Well, she wrote songs and she did do some performing.
Yeah, but that would feel like such an awkward
Yeah.
position for her to be in. It feels like more behind the scenes. She showed me like dark places, not depression, but like smoky clubs, kind of things that they probably have in the 60s, early 70s. Um, Now she's taking me outside. She is in spirit because I'm seeing her now outside. Something about like the solitude that would feel good to her, nature, kind of maybe she liked animals. Um, she's weird. She showed me like cows, horses, things like this, like larger animals. Um, just not quite a hippie. I don't think she's a hippie, but she just feels like solitude, like this sensitive soul, but not how you or I would think of it. Hmm. Is any of this making sense to you?
Yeah, no, yeah. From what I watched about her, yes. She's a very private person.
But
You-
she feels very, but I think she wrote, so I almost feel like this history courses or something, maybe English courses. Like I think writing, even just writing papers would be in depth for her, and it's a challenge to kind of understand what a professor or teacher wants. I feel that that was challenging to her. I'm surprised why she left school, because
She
it
was
feels like
very
if
smart
this
from what her
topic come
family
in,
said.
yeah, she feels not just wanting to give a surface answer, but there's some depth there. I think that she's private people in her life as well too. So I'll use the word illicit affairs, but that doesn't even feel right. It just, I don't think she would want her social life or love life publicized. This feels very private. She's showing me a male, black male musician. This person feels much more extroverted than her. Um, this is a musician. Do you know if someone else kind of disappeared off the scene? Male, probably considerably older than her, showing me the late 30s, maybe early 40s. This would be somebody that was a ladies' man. Could sweet talk people. She showed me lots of smoking, drinking, both of them. So maybe there was some excessive alcohol use that kind of caught up with her at some point. Um,
You're correct on that. Yeah.
the male feels, I don't like a bad influence because you can't help who you love, or but it's, how did this male go out of the picture too? So I'm getting black male, kind of just North Carolina, not Tennessee, feels North Carolina. That would be an interesting thing to look at if there was a male musician, African American, late 30s, early 40s, kind of harassed a little bit, just so that would also, was she have any connection to like Detroit?
To Detroit? No, not that I know of.
This musician does, this male
Oh, the
musician.
male does.
Um, the male does. So I don't know if he played in clubs or bands or recorded music. She's telling me there recorded music there, smaller clubs. I don't know what in particular. Um, their talks, because she saw more from him than just the charismatic kind of guy. She's showing me, got to know him a little bit deeper, listening to him stories. She's saying he's a good storyteller, kind of a BSer a little bit, but like there's depth if you go beyond the surface. She showed me this is love for her. I don't know if this person had another a family, the male. So I'm gonna just go with him for a minute. There's the male. I think it's missing or just kind of dropped out of the scene. I feel Detroit for him. I think he had a wife or common law wife, couple children, three at least. Um, hold on. He just kind of dropped out of the picture, but I think maybe there were some. I don't know that he got in trouble, but I feel harassed by police. So maybe it was just like, oh, he's going back home, North Carolina. Um, she showed me traveling back and forth to both places. This should be easy stuff to for somebody to verify. Um, all right, so I'm gonna take her out of all of that. Like I literally feel she could pack a very small, and this is an interesting word I'm uses, like a valise. You know, in this small little bag. She's a reader. She showed me putting books in there. There's a notebook. Um, she just left. She left with this man. Like there's a plan. Bus. I think they had a car, but then they did bus. Yeah, this is like an older vehicle. I feel like I'm just rambling. So keep me on track if I
No,
need to.
you're no, you're not. But that was one of the things they never found her vehicle. It was a Volkswagen, I think, like a Beetle, like an
That like
older
broke
one.
down Indiana. So would you go through Indiana to go after Michigan? Do those two
You
states even
can,
touch?
yeah, yeah. You can go.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like Indiana breaking down, cornfield, blah blah blah, something like this. There's a but that car is in Indiana. I don't think it even exists anymore. This was so I'm old. That I'm older. But like 1974, there's no car that's still going to be found. Um, this was auctioned off, that car, like junk scrap. Um, I'm North Carolina. She would definitely fill out a place in this area. It just feels predominantly black, this area. Country, rural, very rural. The man's family is from this location. We can find that man, we find her. or find where she was. They're kind of, this has to be a big story in the segregated South. I would still think in 1974, 75 for a white woman. Is she white?
Yeah.
Okay. To be showing up in this town where she's, I think people are just going to know this. I'm kind of surprised. Um, okay. So their family, I think they stayed in some back bedroom. This is a family member's shack house. It's not palatial. I mean, it almost looks like a sharecropper shack. There's poverty here. Um, did she play guitar at all?
Yeah. She's actually self-taught.
Okay, because I'm seeing her like acoustic guitar, but it's an old guitar. She's sitting on a porch, kind of playing and writing. I think she just does this because she loves this. She has no desire to go back in life. She's found where she belongs. Um, she drank too much. This is alcoholism. We're kind of going into that. This man as well too. There was a little bit of domestic violence or side. It's just different time. Um, she's got doctor's reports. If we could find the city in North Carolina, we found her. If we find this guy, we found her. She's been to the doctor, emphysema. Mm. She looks young to me. Now she looks late 40s. I'd think she's going to be in her 50s. She me being sick. I think she worked at Piggly Wiggly. That's a grocery store, right?
I think so.
She showed me
Oh, so
grocery store.
she was alive for a while after she
Oh, I
left.
think so. I think she was alive for a while because she's showing me kind of, I don't know where the man is at this point because now she's showing me kind of our, he might have died or gone back to Detroit area. I don't know. She stayed there, no children with her. Um, yeah, she showed me his job, checkout job. She's calling herself checkout girl, checkout girl. Name tag, and she's specifically showing me Piggly Wiggly. So I think these are things we can kind of look up.
Yeah.
Coughing, she's sick. Um, and then she died. It's sad. I want to be sad, but I don't feel her sadness with all of this. Feels like the life with a bunch of people are having any kind of expectations, right? She should have been a poet. She should have been a writer, and maybe she could have gotten a little bit more out at that point. Um, Baptist church, and she was not religious at all. But I think there's just some Baptist church that she was buried at. Let me see if I can get a date. 85, 86.
85 or 86.
We should be able, yeah, we should be able to find. But then she couldn't be that's old as she looks to me.
Did she use her name though, like her real name there?
She's telling me to call her Elizabeth, Elizabeth, Elizabeth. I think she took this man's name. I don't think she had like a regular job where you draw Social Security. And if you work at a grocery store, I guess you do. So, maybe she took someone else's Social Security number, but she's calling herself Elizabeth.
Hmm.
Doesn't want anybody to call her Lizzie. She says she hates that. So I think she would have stuck with Elizabeth. Um, I don't want to do this here because it's just a little bit different how I do it. I'm going to see if I can get a little more details about the name of the city or location or proximity or what's around it. I'm certainly going to see if I can find, maybe we can see if there was a musician who disappeared around that time, just kind of maybe thought police were after him. And I don't see him doing anything super illegal except for maybe public intoxication, or that would just be a very different time to be alive where you couldn't talk to a white woman or you just
Right.
wouldn't. It's just a very different time. So anything that he was in trouble for feels minor, but feels like it could have been blown out of proportion for all this. But I think this is something, we can find him or identify him. We found her. But I am
Wow.
getting he would go back and forth between Detroit. Um, she's saying Lansing. That's
Michigan.
is that close to Detroit? I have no clue.
Um,
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. But I just feel like he would have gone back and forth. He's still got living children. He's still got living grandchildren. Great grandchildren. She's telling me she did not have children. Um, that's what I'm getting.
So she basically died of natural causes, basically. I mean, she
Emphysema. I'm getting empathy. I
emphysema.
think there was violence between them. I think there was some, but yeah, again, and I'm not trying to minimize it because it certainly isn't. But really, domestic violence only became a big deal in the last 30 years and
Right.
probably a lot less than that. Would there be any kind of consequences? I don't, she wasn't with him. They were just not good together. They just weren't good. They weren't good. I don't think
So
either
they
of them
were
could stop
so they
being
were together for a while, and then he ended up leaving, but she stayed.
years. Yeah, she stayed. I mean, because she kind of made this little place for herself. And she's not showing me being
Right.
social at all. I think it'd be like, oh, there's the white woman. Or, don't
Right.
like people were polite to her, but I don't feel like she ever integrated in any of that in any way that would be meaningful or noticeable, other than like she would stand out for being the white woman around there. Um, she had me kind of this like hermit life. And she gardened a little bit, and I'm being very generous with that. Just this little room. She's not showing me being sad. She's not showing me being heartbroken at any of this. And I think she could have made a call. She's showing me a very thick yellow pages, white pages. So these are all clues. I think we can, if I get the city, we can find her.
Wow.
Yeah. Her name was in there. I think she took his last name. She could have kept Converse. I don't know. But this does not feel a forever mystery by any stretch of the imagination.
Why has nobody figured that out though? Because I mean, it's been a long time, and a lot of people
I mean,
question that.
how much are people are so the thing that I would look for is who's the musician that she kind of, yeah, I think people would know that she knew him. I'm not sitting here talking about him, and she certainly feels like she wouldn't just shout out to the world, but he's missing. Like he just kind of left town. His journeys back and forth would have been quasi frequent. I think maybe every 6 months, and it feels like every 2 months and 4 months, and then kind of back and forth a little bit. I don't feel she would have gone back with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, let me see the year. I think it was like the summer of 1974. She wrote her family letters, and then boop, just gone.
Hmm.
Never even talked to any of them again. She
Hmm.
told them that she was heading west to start a new life.
Opposite direction. Opposite direction. I'm getting North Carolina in pretty strong. No, I would say that's a red herring on
Well,
her
I was
part.
wondering if maybe she did at one point because there was someone who had contacted her brother, I think a while after she had left. And they said that they had found a Connie or Elizabeth Converse in the telephone book. And I'm trying to think of where they said that she was. It was like Kansas, or I don't know if it was North Carolina. It might have been.
I'm really
They
getting
gave
southeast. It's not Tennessee. It's not Georgia. It's not South Carolina. This is North Carolina. I mean, this is, it's not Kentucky. It's not Mississippi. It's not Alabama. I mean, she's very specific about the state.
so she's in North
Maybe we
Carolina.
can like Google old phone books. I don't even know if they would have that information on. I mean, everything's online, so probably not.
Right.
I would go 80s. 80s. I would go in the 80s
80s
for
is
her.
when she passed.
Yeah, but I would also look for the phone book in the 80s, a name, because I don't have a concern of people looking for me. I'm not hiding. I don't feel like she's hiding in plain sight.
Right. Wow. But like it's so crazy because there's this huge mystery surrounding her. You know what I'm saying? And then here she is. She's like, "Yeah, I worked at Piggly
But
Wiggly."
we're much more of a social. I mean, it would be very
Right.
hard to disappear now. Your phones track you. People know where you are. There's a million ways to
Right.
find. And when I was growing up, nobody thought of that. Like you just like it would be much easier to do. And I grew up in the 60s and 70s, so to me this feels very plausible because
Right.
I
Oh,
wouldn't,
for sure.
nobody would have a thought to think, oh, North Carolina. I mean, the connection is the guy, the musician out of Detroit who had family in Lansing or family moved there, wherever that is. Doesn't feel that far from how she's showing it to me. And that's what I'm getting.
Wow. Okay. Mystery solved, guys.
Let's find her. I mean, let's find a phone book. Let's find out who this
But I'm
musician
saying
was.
it's not so mysterious when you look at
No,
it,
it does.
right?
It's certainly. I don't feel foul play. I'll say that.
I
I
mean,
don't
she
feel
basically lived her life out and,
quiet like she wanted. I
right.
do feel emphysema. She showed me passing in a hospital, um, with white sheets or either on white sheets, like there's a window open. I mean, none of this feels duplicitous. None of this feels malevolent in any way. Just she smoked too much. She drank too much. She wasn't in good health. She a lot of melancholy, um, and that's it.
Okay.
I hope, I hope
maybe
this
we
was
can look
helpful.
maybe we can look into this guy and find out who he is.
Yeah, I think he's also deceased at this point, but they're relatives. He's got
You said she's in a Baptist church, like cemetery?
Baptist church, cemetery, Woodfield in town. It feels multiracial there though. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I
Hmm.
will see if I get anything else from her about a location. I don't know North Carolina. I mean, there's
Yeah.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Um, it's really my only, and I wouldn't want to even say landmark because I'm not even certain where it is in the state. Um, yeah, I would say
All
wherever there
right.
had been crops, wherever there had been a lot of farming, wherever there would be sharecropper cabins still or homes still, that would kind of be the region or area. And I don't know enough about the state to be more
Right.
specific.
Right. All right.
Okay.
All
All
right, we
right. That was
finished.
fun.
All right, bye guys.
Bye bye.